Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today on Live Music Nation podcast. I'm your host, Jake Gill. Today we're with Alex Nerad from Egyptian Theater. Alex, did I get your last name right?
Pretty close. Alex Nerad.
Nerad. Okay, we're going to go with the long E sound. Great. Alex,
Yep.
a little background on you. Where did you grow up? And tell us about your career up until the point now with the Egyptian Theater.
Yeah. So I grew up in Iowa City, Iowa, here in DeKalb, Illinois now at the Egyptian Theater. Came to DeKalb here to go to school at Northern Illinois University and was first introduced to the Egyptian Theater while I was in school and actually started working part-time at the Egyptian Theater doing tech stuff. And throughout, just fell in love with the venue and throughout school had a honor of going working at the American Dance Festival, being out at Duke University, and was a master electrician out there for a summer. Worked at a lot of other venues throughout the area, and was just extremely fortunate in 2006. The previous executive director here at the Egyptian Theater had left. The board of directors came to me and said, "Hey, can you help us out for a little while? You know the venue and our renters really well." And I said, "Yeah, sure." And about 2, 3 months later, they came back and they said, "Hey, you actually seem to know what you're doing. Do you just want to do this?" So I guess you could say I had a 3 or 4 year long interview process proving myself. Didn't really know what I was getting myself into. But here I am now, 16 years later, absolutely loving it. Been able to accomplish a lot with the team here, and can't imagine doing anything else.
So really, degree in college was what?
So I was going to school to be a lighting designer. So I
Okay.
thought, my career was going to be in that. I was always involved in tech theater, really, live entertainment and theater and the arts. I was in high school. I don't even know how I kind of finally got introduced to that, but played the trumpet in junior high and high school. So I was involved in, the arts, and just love live music, live entertainment. But I'm definitely more of a backstage person than an on stage. I have no problem being in front of an audience, but you're not going to catch me singing, playing an instrument, or
Yeah,
doing
that
any
wasn't
acting these days.
that wasn't your passion. So now, as an executive director, do you still get some hands-on tech?
Yeah, we're a very small organization. There's just 5 of us full-time on staff here. So we do have a full-time technical director here, but still get a lot of opportunities to occasionally jump in, run lights live for a concert, help with stuff. So, that's not my focus every day, but it's fun that what I thought I was going to do, I still have the opportunity to do if I want to. So.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the theater. What kind of lineup you guys have on a typical year? Describe it for us.
Yeah, so the Egyptian Theater, really special place. Opened December 10th, 1929. So we just celebrated 93 years of history. Our nonprofit organization that owns and operates the theater took over in 1978. And so, like I said, very small organization, but pretty big venue, 1,400 seats. And back when the theater opened in 1929, it was one of over 100 Egyptian theaters built around the country. And
Wow.
today it's one of only 7 left in the United States.
Good for you.
And it's the only one east of the Rocky Mountains.
Oh,
That's why
yeah.
the state of Illinois a couple of years ago named the Egyptian as one of the top 20 architectural treasures in the state of Illinois. So we always talk about it being a jewel of the community, but it really is a national treasure. They don't make theaters like this anymore. And, too many of these historic theaters have been torn down around the country. So
Sure.
any community that still has one is extremely fortunate. Very different and special, very different than your contemporary, brick and mortar put up theaters. So most of what we do are live events. We have about 180 events a year, about 30 or so national touring acts, a ton of community events, everything from dance recitals to orchestra concerts to bodybuilding competitions, to magic shows, comedians, rock concerts, country
Wow.
acts. Um, pretty much anything you can think of, we've had on our stage, including Jungle Jack Hanna with a full-grown cheetah on stage.
Nice.
So you think you've seen it all until you have to talk about what happens if the cheetah gets loose during the show.
No.
It keeps us on our toes, but we also do a lot of private
Oh,
events, everything from weddings, baptisms, funerals, birthday parties, graduations, proms, a lot of private tours. So we keep very busy, and as a nonprofit, our mission is to make the theater open and accessible to anyone out there, and we try really hard at that. We see
yeah.
about 42,000 people a year that come through our doors, and certainly hoping to keep growing those numbers as we recover from the pandemic.
No, fantastic. So let's go back, I guess, a little bit. Obviously you have a passion for this. What are some of the moments for you and your community where you're like, yes, this is what drives you? Like, what are the things that keep you going in this?
Yeah, it's interesting timing with this. Just yesterday, we held our full-time staff. We have an annual planning meeting, and we talk about, what went well over the last year, what didn't, what are we looking forward to this year, what are our goals, and it's a great moment to kind of reflect on not only how much was achieved, but some of those really highlight moments. And for me, we have such a variety of programming. And obviously, the big headline acts are a lot of fun. It's great to see big sold out crowds. But for me, it's some of the community stuff that's most impactful. Whether it's right after the pandemic, seeing, the local dance studios and community theater groups being able to get back on a stage. In a lot of communities, athletics were able to kind of get back on the field sooner than everybody else. But the arts were not. And so for a lot of these kids, it had been a year and a half since they had been able to do what they love doing, whether it was dancing, playing an instrument, acting.
Yeah.
And so to be able to see them get back on stage and the deep emotions that they had being able to do what they love, and the parents coming up to us as staff and just saying, thank you for making this safe and possible. We know you didn't have to open. It would have been easier not to open, but you took the steps, you figured it out, and just thank you, because my kid doesn't have anything else to do. This, dance is their
Yeah.
life. And so that was really impactful and reminded us the importance of, we put on fun shows and stuff, but for kids that may have a career in the arts, may become the next big touring act out there, they were starving. Their soul was starving throughout the pandemic. We talk about, I think in the US, unfortunately, the arts a lot of times is thought of as kind of the icing on the cake. And we like to think that we are part of the cake. We're an equal part of the cake in every community. And it's important. And you think about, during the pandemic and everybody was stuck at home, what did everybody turn to? They turned to the arts. It was, whether it was Netflix, whether it was podcasts, whether it was reading. It was the arts that got people through one of our toughest times, in our lifetime. And so we really hope that people, return to the arts and continue to support the arts, no matter what it is: music, theater, dance, comedy, ventriloquism, whatever it is, because that helped us all get through a really tough time. And the arts is going to need, the support to get back up on their feet.
Yeah.
And so being able to see, a community come together, is what's most impactful. And that can be, like I said, big headline acts, or smaller, local community dance things, children's community theater, whatever it may be.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Here's my fun questions for the day. I always ask these two. I'm an entertainer. I'm in live music. So, Alex, what's the best concert you've ever seen in your entire life?
That is certainly a tough one. But one that lately, over the last couple of years, that I've been saying, and I think it's my favorite because it surprised me the most.
Okay.
We had Arlo Guthrie a couple years ago here at the Egyptian Theater, and I knew who he was. I knew, some of his music, but it wasn't something, I listened to on a regular basis.
Right,
Wouldn't have bought
right.
a ticket to go see him. But after having him at the theater, was one of the more enjoyable shows I've ever seen, and walked away going, I'd actually buy a ticket to see him now. Just an amazing storyteller, engaging with the audience, somebody that you can tell is just passionate about their talent, and being able to connect with an audience. To me, that's what's always a lot of fun. Is there's a lot of great musicians out there. Not all of them can connect with an audience and be relatable, and so those live performers that can have you just in the palm of their hand from the moment they step on stage to the moment they leave the stage, those are the ones that really leave an impression on me.
Okay, dead or alive, you can bring one act to the Egyptian Theater for your community. Money's no issue. Who would you bring?
That's another tough one. So many amazing performers out there. If I can cheat a little bit, I'm going to say President John F. Kennedy actually spoke at the Egyptian Theater on October 25th, 1959. And we amazingly got a recording of his 18-minute speech that he gave in 1959. So we have a recording of the speech he gave. And I think it would be amazing to be able to bring him back and hear a speech back on our stage.
Yep.
And what would he say today?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's awesome. Alex, how do people find out more about what's going on at the Egyptian Theater?
Yeah, you can visit us online at egyptiantheater.org. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, lots of easy places to find us, but the website's going to be the best way. And we hope if anybody's in Northern Illinois, they come and check out the Egyptian Theater in downtown DeKalb, Illinois. Absolutely.
People are making their plans for summer, especially. Have a great day. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle